I'm Dr. Catherine Watson. I'm a clinical psychologist. I've been working with children and families for about 20 years. I am the co-founder of Village Counseling and Assessment Center, as well as the co-creator of the Compass Collaborative, which is a group of psychologists who partner with educational communities around not just recognizing but celebrating cultural pluralism and inclusion and diversity within the school system.
What I like about the Excelsus is meeting new people and the way that they teach it.
I like it because you get to learn a lot of important stuff.
The Excelsus program because it teaches you a lot of stuff about becoming a young black man and a lot of information you need to know to be a good student at school.
An invaluable program when it comes to the psychological implications of self-esteem, self-confidence, a sense of identity, a sense of belonging, especially when African-American youth, particularly boys, are trying to negotiate different cultural environments, whether it's their home environment, whether it's the school environment, to be able to withstand the pressures to conform fully to either while still maintaining their own identity and understanding sort of the rules of the game of larger society.
Having an African-American male teacher helps you because if you're African-American too, we all kind of just relate with things, and it's just, we're all the same. It's a better experience.
Yes, of course. I think that seeing an African-American male teach these subjects, again, it gives them a sort of tool that they can use because they can identify with the African-American teaching. They feel that, unfortunately, in the media, they don't see representations of African-Americans teaching English grammar and composition or teaching the 8 parts of speech. So being an African-American man teaching something like English grammar and composition, focusing on the 8 parts of speech, that becomes reflexive for them and empowering for them. Also, a lot of times students are protective, overly protective. They feel that teachers don't have their best interests at heart, or that teachers can't identify with them as human beings. And that short circuits the entire learning process.
You guys are good writers.
What we try to do with Excelsus is, as Mr. Oles mentioned, is to give students an opportunity to learn and to express themselves in a variety of ways. One of those ways is music and art.
To the 8 first speech is what it be with Kobe, Aaron, and Kyrie.
what I've seen in my practice when I work with young African American boys who have the experience of other in their school is a sense of what we talk about as psychological homelessness, of not feeling connected or belonging in either their home environment or their school environment. And that is a unique struggle that children from the majority culture don't face. And it needs special attention. It needs a special response. And a program like Corey and Willie's is a place where community is created, where kids are given that sense of belonging and given a space to explore the feelings of other, to talk about in a very real way the effects of racism on their lives, and to try to chart a course through a successful course through the independent school system. And when I think about a young man who I've been working with for years now, I mean, he talks about feeling invisible, and he talks about feeling as if what he has to say in class isn't as valued as what other kids have to say, and that his opinions aren't as important. Yet when he goes to his school website, his picture's up there on the webpage. So he's valued in that way, but what he has to offer and the contributions that he has to make in class and with his peers don't seem as valued. And what sort of questions or pain can that bring up for a kid who feels that racially he's valued and he's visible, but socially and for what he has to offer he's ignored? And that can really result in deep, lasting psychological pain that to me can only be addressed, repaired, when he is with other kids who have had a similar experience, and when he's given an opportunity to have that pain, to have that trauma in some way witnessed and shared. And that is exactly what Corey and Willie's group provides.
That's very good as well. I like this particularly, Kobe. I like when you say, one thing that I forgot was police brutality, right? The way you introduced that sentence. That's good.
To find value in who they are and their culture, which then helps to facilitate a healthy racial identity formation. And a healthy racial identity has been correlated with lower levels of depression, lower levels of sense of isolation and loneliness, and an increased sense of feeling good about your school environment.
Love what the program is doing here for young black men, giving them exposure and range and tools and skills to be young leaders, to be capable, and to maintain their motivation, develop some discipline, and see what the possibilities are and have the tools to get to wherever they want to go.
What I like about it is that they're teaching us how to get prepared for school, and I feel prepared sometimes, but I'm glad that I took this so that I know that I'm really sure about it.
And so this program is very important because it brings kids together in a way where they can celebrate all of who they are, where they can appreciate all that they have to contribute and all that those like them have contributed.
To answer your question, test scores probably, if you make a 600 on each subject, 1,800 total, you'll be set for a lot of schools. The more competitive schools might want higher, but like I said, don't let test scores or GPA keep you from applying to any school that you really want to go to.
These boys were open to the learning experience here because it was coming from a spot of love, I would say. This wasn't a required, mandatory thing, but yet learning was able to take place. And I think one of the things that's most important, all educators say it, but few find means to put it into practice, is that we want to prepare students to become lifelong learners. And excellent learning can take place outside of the classroom, after having gone to boarding school in New England, after having attended Oberlin College, after having done graduate school at Stanford University, after having been assistant professor of history at Portland State University. One thing that I've definitely learned is that learning is not expensive. It should not cost a lot of money. It really should be given for free or at little to no cost. And that learning, meaningful learning for the marketplace to prepare students to become professionals of all sorts can be given outside of a traditional academic setting like the Excelsus August Institute for African American Boys.